All right, back up and running. All right, so all we're going to do now is we are going to do our best to cover all the silver, all the aluminum foil, and paper. Okay, so that's just what we're going to worry about right now. We're going to do texturing after we get that done. So all you're going to really want to pay attention to right now is maybe when you're going on the tips of things like this, the tips of them, maybe making the paper drip down a little bit more off the tip, you know, getting it to a point. Same thing with your little thorns that you put on there, a little bit of paper that's coming off of them just to make it look like a little bit more gook. You don't want, you can make it any way you want to, really you can. But you just want to make sure that you get all the paper covering that tin foil. You don't want any tin foil showing. So when it comes to little spots, like let's turn it around right here and let's see if we can see right here. Maybe we can go right here. Let's go right here. Little spots like inside of here, or maybe inside of here, and this is backwards for me, so I apologize. But inside of here, you take something like this and you just dip it in a little bit of water, and when you get the paper on there, just press that paper into those crevices with this the best that you can. And it goes the same with like right here, you know, all the way around here. You're just going to take and you're going to press that paper down inside of there just to get that to cover up any of the tin foil that's showing. So that's the tool I use. It's just a paintbrush. It's the end of a paintbrush, and trying to get it, push it up into there to get it to cover up that tin foil. Now when it comes to the top, okay, I kind of don't have the camera. When it comes to the top, I just overlay the paper in there. I don't worry about what that looks like, because when this is hanging, nobody can see that anyway. Okay, now another thing that might be a pain in the butt is if you have this outside and you leave it outside overnight in a rainstorm or something like that, you know, water's going to get inside of there. And when you go to dump that water out, that paper is going to stop that water from dumping out. And then you're going to kind of get this messy mess up on the top there. So again, just leaving these things outside is probably not the best idea. If you can keep them covered or keep them out of the rain, that would be probably the best. Of course, you can do what you can to weatherproof these things, weatherproof any project that I do, but when it's all said and done, you guys, it's paper and glue. So paper and glue is extremely tough to keep moisture out of. Some guys out there would say that their way is better, and of course there are probably better ways than what even I do. And my way of weatherproofing any kind of project that I think is going to stay outside is just using polyurethane, you know, just painting on a couple of coats of polyurethane and making sure I get it into the cracks and crevices of everything that I can, the best that I can. Other people use wood glue, other people use marine sealant, other people use all kinds of different things. But like I said, trying to keep these out of the rain and stuff would probably be best for you if you could, if it's at all possible. But like I said, anybody can weatherproof anything the best they can if they try. So anyway, back to what I was saying, I just overlay the paper in there and kind of get my fingers wet a little bit and just kind of press it on the inside of the top of the jar just to get that tin foil covered. So, all right, let's stop bullshitting. Let's get down to it here. And I'm just going to cover this in paper, and I'm going to come back and forth here, there. I'm not going to put it on fast mode or anything like that. It'll just be me covering it with paper and revisiting with you guys as I'm doing it, all right? So let's get going. All right, here's that first sheet. See, it's got a little tear in it. No big deal. I just did that as I picked it up, but that's okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this sheet, and I'm just going to, let's just start right here in the front. And I have a little thorn right here that I put on there, and of course I have this big branch claw thing coming off of there. But what I'm going to do, And again, guys, I don't worry about the straight lines on the paper towels. We're going to cover this all up with texture. You won't see those. And if anybody does see them, then oh well. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on here. And hey, again, all the wrinkles and everything that goes in with this, that goes with these paper towels, is all character. It all adds. Okay? So don't be worried about any wrinkles. We're not trying to get it smooth. We don't want it smooth. Okay, I got this just a little bit too far down. If I didn't have that tear in it, let's turn that around. Let's turn that around. Let's turn that piece of paper around. Try to get this straight here. And too, guys, working with glue and paper, it always helps if your hands aren't dry, if they're a little wet. That works out the best. But again, we're just going to drape that down in there. And now we've got this. And it goes pretty much down to the bottom. And we just take that and make sure we're covering all the tin foil. And even if you don't get it all, you can come back with little pieces and get it later. Again, we've got this thorn coming out, so we'll just pop that paper right through there. Let that thorn come out and we're just covering that up. Little tin foil showing right there, but we'll come back with some paper and get that here in just a little bit. What I would suggest is just try to get this paper covered up, or get this tin foil covered up with paper, and then come back and do your armature. So I'm going to do some paperwork here real quick, cut some more of this paper, and then we'll come back and we'll do some more. All right? All right. So I want to show you, I'm going to take like maybe a piece this big, and we're just going to put it in the glue, wring it out here. I'm going to open this up again. And what I'm going to do is this is one of the reasons why I want to have those sticks away from the jar, so that you can take your paper and you can go in between your sticks here like this, and you pull this paper through here like this and cover up that tin foil that's in between there by pulling this up like that. Taking this other side and pulling it up on the other side of this like that, just kind of getting it to stick up there, and then you're gonna try and take some of these unnatural lines out of it. I mean, these unnatural lines I call are going to be lines like that. You just pull it apart. Just kind of get these unnatural lines like right here pulled apart. I've got a little bucket of water over here that I keep my hands wet with. Grab your paintbrush and just kind of put these pieces up underneath the tin foil. And to have some dripping down too is not a bad idea, but you got to get this tin foil covered. This tin foil tends to shine in light. You got a little piece like that hanging down, just try to put it up there if you want, or leave it hanging if you want. Doesn't matter. But then I just take my paintbrush and push that paper back behind there just to cover up that tinfoil. And see, if your stick was up against the glass like that, like totally up against the glass, you wouldn't be able to get that piece of paper underneath there. And see how that kind of looks unnatural there too? You want to try and do something to try and get that to look a little bit better underneath there. That's pretty much it right there. I've already done this side over here. Got that paper up underneath there. Got that little cove right there that kind of gives it some character. But again, we've got this little unnatural kind of fold in the paper there that we're just going to rip, and hope you can see that. All right, be back. All right, so just a quick detail tutorial here. I have my paintbrush in here. Just put a little water on it. So, and it's kind of hard to see in this light, and I'm sorry, but what I have here is I have a vine that's running across here we made so that it kind of connects with this vine that's over here on this side. Okay, so what we want to do with this paintbrush is we want to try and get it the most detail that we can out of that line. So this is tinfoil behind there, and then of course the vine runs like that. And what I try to do is I try to take this paintbrush and I push down into this so that I get this detail of the vine. And I've taken a little bit of paper and I've pushed up underneath here to push that out just a little bit, and then taken and push the rest of the paper up underneath there so that we get that vine. And then we'll take another piece of paper and we'll cover this part up. So just a quick detail note on why this is important to do that. And then when we go to make a texture for this vine, we'll make it a little bit different of a texture than we're going to do for the rest of the jar so that stands out a lot more. And then of course when we go to paint, we'll do a little something different with that as well, just to make it stand out a little bit more. And those are the little details and these, you know, these branches that really make everything pop when you take pictures of it and you show people what you want to show them. Those are the details that pop out. So we'll just keep going. Okay, so just a quick tip for you. If you're having a hard time getting the paper to stick to the tin foil, what I want you to do is I want you to think about, it's much easier for paper and glue to stick to paper and glue. So what you want to try and do is, see, what I did is I took strips of paper in between here and down here, and I ran them through here, and I connected them to the paper down at the bottom. So again, if you're having a hard time, get to a place where you're just trying to connect paper to paper, and it'll work out a lot better for you. All right, so as you see, if we go all the way around here, there was a little spot that I missed underneath here somewhere that I'll have to hit, like right there, that little spot. But for the most part, all this tinfoil has been covered except for the armature part. So that's what we're going to work on next. We're also going to work on putting some paper over the top of these branches, and we want to try and rip the paper so that this string, so the rope shows through a little bit. And we'll work with this branch a little bit here, maybe put just a little drip of paper off the tip of it, and we're just going to make this look a little bit more gooey. So there we go. All right, so I've got most of it covered, except for the armatures, of course. So I'm just going to do this big one really quick with you, and then I'm going to go around and do the rest of them. But we've got this one, we've got this little vine here that we've got to do. We've got this one over here on the side that we've got to do. And then we've got another one that's down here. Okay, and then we've got these little spikes that we've got to do on here. And then we're going to do the sticks after that, and cover these up, some of them. And we might even take a little bit of the glass, and we're going to do something with this stick as well. So just some details that we got to get done. But first, we just got to cover the tin foil. And what I've done is I've taken just some sheets and I've ripped them in half, because we're just going to wrap them right around there. So let me get some paper and some glue here. And we're just going to cover up these armatures. The best that we can. Not to worry if it's too short to go around or too not long enough to go. We just need to cover them first here. And like I keep saying, there's no right way or wrong way to do this. You just want to get the tin foil covered up, because anything that's left showing like marks where the paper meet or anything, we're going to cover with texture anyway. So it really doesn't matter. And it being summertime, there's about 25 flies down here right now. They keep landing in my glue. I think it's funny just to let them crawl along on the table with glue all over them, and they get stuck, and yeah, you know the rest of the story. They don't last long with glue all over them. They keep landing in my glue. They like the glue. All right, so Just get them to wrap around. Again, the connections don't have to look so great. But what you want to do when you get down to this bottom part here, and I might have to lower this just a little bit. Give me a second here to unscrew with my gluey hands. What I like to do is I like to take this then, and then we've got, you go past the bottom of the last part of the tin foil, which is right about here, and go down about this far, and I just pull this off. Set it down over here. We can use it on this other piece over here. And then I just like to simply point it off so it looks like that. I've got this other piece that I can use for this part. Okay, make it come down, and I just make it into a point that way as well. And there you have it. Now we're going to go back over and we're going to texture that here in just a little bit. But you need to take a look around 360 on it, and if you saw on the back side of this, there's a little tin foil showing. So I'm just going to grab a little piece that I have here. Try and cover that up the best that I can. Like I said, you can wrap this around like that. Nobody's going to know the difference anyway. Alright, and that back part's done. So once this hardens, once this dries, it does get hard. Of course, it's paper still and glue, but it does make it a little bit more rigid because it is kind of floppy right now. Another thing I want to tell you real quick is down here on the floor, I do have some newspaper. Make sure if you've got like a carpeted area, or if you're doing it on tile, whatever floor you're doing on, make sure you have something underneath it, because these are going to drip. Okay, these are, whatever glue is left on here is going to drip off here no matter how much you try and get it off first. And like this big one that's down here is dripping right now. That's why I had to put that paper underneath, and there's already a drop of glue about this big on the floor. So little tip that might be a little bit too late, but I'm sure you'll figure it out before now that you were supposed to do that. But all right, I'm gonna turn off the camera for right now, and I'm gonna go around and I'm gonna do these other little bits, and then I'll show you what I do on the sticks. All right. All right, so there we go. We've got all the tin foil now covered. Yeah, I'm sorry, this light is coming through the window here, and it's really making it dark, or really making it bright. Sorry about that. But as you can see, everything is covered, and that's what we want. So now, you don't have to let it dry. You can let it dry overnight if you want. It doesn't make any difference, or whether you go on to the next step or not. Just so I can show you guys, I kind of added some extra paper to the bottom of it there and made a little tip at the bottom, just to kind of make it look a little more swampy. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to show you how to do some texturing. So I am going to take a quick break here and get something to drink, and then I'll be right back and we'll just get right into that. So be right back. All right, so we're going to do this, do some texturing on this next. And again, what I try to create in my mind is this is ready to be dunked into the bog now. Okay, so You want to kind of look at, I guess, what I would call like snag points. Like there's a point right here. These points, of course, right here, the tops of these. You know, there's a little branch thing coming off right here that would be a snag point where, you know, some moss or some swamp goo would connect to down here as well. And of course this stick back here, we're going to juice up a little bit. So you just kind of take a look and see where those snag points are that would snag on some stuff, and then that's what you're going to work with right now. And so what I've got here, we're just going to do a stick real quick. We'll start off with this one. This one's got that cool Y at the top. That's why I picked it, because I just see kind of like a lot of goo right up here. So we're just going to get this like this. And this is texture number 1 for you all here. I use this one all the time. I use it more than any other texture, but you got your, this is just a half a piece of paper. Let me unfold it here. And once it's unfolded, all I'm going to do now is I'm just going to take it in my hands and I'm going to tear holes in it with my fingers. Just random holes. I try to keep the edges kind of intact, but a few of them have to be broken just to get that look of detachment, I guess, or that the organic look, I guess, because nothing's really perfect. Things are just kind of organic chaos, organic. So once you got that, keep it open. All you're going to do is just hang this right on there, just like that. And what I like to do is I like to just give it a little pull. We're going to open it up down at the bottom here. And you just glue it down on the bottom there. It's just that easy. Now you can add all kinds of little pieces. Like I would go back on the back side of that Y branch there, and kind of do the other side as well. Just on top. Again, I'm just tearing little small holes in it. Not destroying it, but just like that. Like I said, you can break up a couple of the sides just to do so. And that's going to go on there like that. And see, like that, you can just pull that apart. I'll kind of stick these two together there at the top. Okay, so we got that little snag point there, so we want to take a little bit of paper and glue. A couple little holes in there. Just like that. Now remember, every piece that you put on here, you have to paint black. So we're going to have to, you know, spray paint that black here a little bit. But like if you're going to add little tiny pieces all over the place, just remember you got to paint them at some time. So, but that's basically the gist of it. You know, once that spins around. Now, if you see like straight lines that go really long like that, just break them up a little bit. You know, just don't let anything look like it's, I don't know how to fake, I guess. For a lack of word there, I don't know what to. And when all that dries, and it's important to have those holes too, so you can see the rope underneath there, and you can see it right there really well. So, and up there, that's pretty cool. But if you cover up all the rope, then there's no reason to have the rope there. So don't cover up the rope. All right, so let's do this this front hook or this front claw thing here. And again, the texturing is the same. And we also have to do the tops up here too. So let me show you how to do that. Let's do that first. So I just have a full sheet or a half a sheet here. And I'm gonna tear my holes in it. My daughter's watching TV in the other room. So like I said, just grab these edge pieces and just kind of frill them up. But now we're just going to take this. We've got this piece that we got to work around here, this thorn, which is fine too. And we're going to just lay this. Don't want to press it. You just want to lay it right on there. Just like that. Again, we're laying it on there. We're not pressing it on. Just kind of pull it here and there. I gotta get it underneath this. The flies like the glue. I hope you can see that. Not light, guys, sorry. Now you really can't see it. All right, I'm gonna take another piece here. Get some holes in it again. We're running about 9 minutes on this one, so all right, and then you're just gonna again just kind of get it kind of a little drippy, a little droopy, I guess you could say. Again, you just want to lay it on there and let it fall where it may. And rip it more if it needs to be ripped more, because you want holes. You want stringy. So like that. Got another piece here doing some holes. I know lots of holes, right? Lots of tearing. got this piece ready to go for this bottom part right here. I should lower this down just a bit for you, since we are moving down now. There we go. I'm going to put some texturing on this bottom part here. All right, like I said, you don't want to touch it too much. You just want to kind of let it drop where it drops and let it stay, because that's where it kind of gives it its character. I don't know if you can see that. You can see it better when I get it closer. That's all there is to that.